everybody, Zach with Speedy Mason, and I'm very excited to announce our new bucket program with LATICRETE to work with our Speedy Mason products. This product is a do-it-yourself dream, and it's also great for the contractors out there that are doing small projects where they have to mix up some mortar with their thin brick and thin stone. So what we've got is we just have a 5-gallon bucket. This will get shipped to you. Inside of here we have two 12.5-pound bags of mortar. We're going to fill the water, we're going to go up to the water line on here, we're going to mix up our mortar, and it's going to be set, ready to go. Prior to coming to Speedy Mason, I worked in the construction industry for over 13 years, running my own construction company, and never once did I ever mix up mortar or do anything like that, just because I had a disconnect on what would the consistency be, am I mixing it right? Well, with this bucket program with LATICRETE and Speedy Mason, we have eliminated all the guesswork. So this is really going to be an exciting, easy application with our thin brick and thin stone. You're going to be sent out a bucket just like this right here, and let's get this thing opened up and see what's inside. I want to take this tab right here on the top of the bucket, and I just want to break that tab, and then I'm just going to pull that off, throw that to the side, open up the bucket. So just pry on these edges really easily like this. Got the goods inside. So inside of this bucket, I have two 12.5-pound bags of mortar. Put those aside. Got my installation instructions in here with all of the information that you need on here, but really it's super simple. Now you can see we have a line that's drawn right here on this bucket, and we're going to fill this bucket up to that line with water. So you can see it, when I look inside the bucket, I can actually see that line through the bucket. There's not one inside. What I like to do is I like to take a little marker, and I find where that line is, put a little mark on the inside, and now I'm going to fill my water up to that line. So I'm just going to fill that water up to the line here. And now I have the perfect amount of water for one of these bags. Now we're just going to mix it up, and we're going to start applying some thin brick. So now that I have my water poured into my bucket, I'm going to add that bag of mortar into this bucket, and I'm going to mix it up. Just one bag at a time per that amount of water that I have in there. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that the next bucket that I mix, because I only have one bucket, that I know how much water I'm going to have in there. So I like to take like another container. It can be any kind of bucket that you have laying around, and I'll actually pour that in. I've got that water metered out perfectly, right? So I'm just going to pour that in there, and then I'm going to make a mark right here on whatever container I'm using. Hopefully you can see through it. And now I know that the next time that I put another bag in here, because there's going to be some mortar in here and stuff like that, that I have the perfect amount. So then I'm just going to go back, fill this up to my water line, and then we're going to start mixing up our mortar. I want to use a heavy duty drill when I'm mixing up this mortar. I also want to use the paddle end attachment for this drill. Your standard, home drill that you're going to have probably isn't going to mix this up really well, or you're going to burn it right out. So you're probably going to need to rent a heavy duty drill, or go out and purchase one and then sell it on Marketplace when you're done with it. But this is what you're going to want to use, and make sure that you're holding down that bucket with something. You're going to have to put your feet around it, or find an attachment that you can put your bucket into that's going to keep that bucket from spinning around. So make sure you're using a heavy duty drill, and now we can get to mixing. I'm just going to take my bag of mortar. I've got my water to my line. Just going to open this thing up. Add a little bit. Get it going. So I've mixed this up for 1 minute, and now I'm going to let it slack for 5 minutes. Then I'm going to re-agitate it, and we'll be ready to go. We mixed up our mortar. We obviously knew exactly how much water we were going to put in there because we were going right to our line. Put the water in, mixed in the mortar, and now we're just going to back butter the thin brick. Actually, for an interior application, we're going to spot bond, and we're going to use a back butter for an exterior application. So what's the difference? Well, I'm going to show you. For a full back butter, I want to make sure that I covered all the back side of the brick, just like this. That's a back butter application, which we would use for an exterior application. Spot bonding is just a little bit just like that. That's what we would call a spot bond for an interior application. I don't have to cover the entire back side of the brick for a spot bond for an interior application. Mixing up the mortar, that first minute, I want to mix that mortar consistently. So for 1 minute, I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to let that slack for 5 minutes, and then I'm going to re-agitate it, and I'm ready to start installing. So you can see with this mortar, it's almost like a thick mastic. This stuff is incredible, and I really like it because it's actually going to stick to my trowel, so I don't have to worry about this falling all over the floor. I'm still going to put something over the floor to make sure that it doesn't get all over the floor, but usually I don't have to worry about that. So really nice stuff to work with. This is the Speedymason LATICRETE material that we're using here in the bucket program. So now we're going to start installing some thin brick.